compile time. And null is the value that is defined for any variable when value is not defined at runtime. When value is not defined at runtime, because value is expected at runtime and value is not defined at runtime, then it will return null. It will return null. You can observe this example now. You can observe this example. Suppose I clicked OK without entering name. Then it prints hello. You can see it prints hello. Hello empty. I will refresh this one more time. I will click OK with name. If I click OK with name, and it will collect that name. You can see it is collecting the name. And I click cancel. That means the value is not provided into username. At compile time, if it is not provided, then obviously compiler will put undefined into it. That's the reason you are able to print undefined. But at runtime, a value is not provided. Then at runtime, it is unable to find a value inside a reference. Then you can see when I cancel, what happens? When I cancel, there is no value defined inside that username. Then it will not return undefined. It will return null. You can see it returns null. So I hope you are clear in this point. This is very important to understand. So when undefined is returned and when null is returned. Usually null is an exception caught. And if anybody talks about exceptions, exceptions are at runtime. Null is a regular exception. It's a regular exception which occurs when there is no value found. And exception means in computer programming, remember, it happens at runtime. Error means it happens at compile time. Compile time, you will get errors. And runtime, you will get exceptions. And null is an exception. Usually the null exception comes when there is no value defined. Exception comes means the word exception came means a developer should know that it is, we are talking about runtime. That means null is a very regularly known exception. This exception usually returned when a value is not found. And exception is returned means it is done while using the runtime. That means now, how do we correctly configure this? Correctly configure this, I will show you. Now what we have to do is, better, you can write the program like this now. Username, we are expecting string, and type symbol, we are expecting null. And we can write a program now. If username is equal to double quote means it is empty. If username is double quote means if it is empty, means what? Means they clicked OK but not provided a value. Then we will put a message document.write. We will put a message saying that please enter name. It cannot be empty. It cannot be empty. This message I am giving. Please enter name. It cannot be empty. Okay. Else, if another condition I am writing. If username is equal to null. Null is a keyword which is used to verify null. That means, so null types. So null is an exception. is an exception. Null is an exception. Exception caught at runtime. Null is an exception caught at runtime when value is not defined for any reference. You can verify by using the keyword null. You can verify by using the keyword null. That means now if it is null, then I am printing another message, document.write, and I am saying that so you cancelled, because it is returning null means I know that he cancelled and it is not empty. Then it has to print the name. So that means this I provided at the top, and this message I am printing there. That means we are saying that so it will print hello, that username. That means if it is not empty and if it is not null, then it is going to print the name. If it is empty, then it will print this message. If it is null, then it will print this message. When usually null comes, when value is not defined. That means don't think that so I click OK without entering the value means value not defined. Why? Because you clicked OK. That means it will take a blank value which is treated as empty. That means now I save this and refresh here. You can see now one more important, I haven't compiled the latest one, right? I will compile. After making the changes, compile so that this latest code is updated into JavaScript. Once the latest code is updated into JavaScript, what you can do is in the JavaScript, you can get this updated code, and that is linked in this home. Now let's refresh the page, and you can see now we have your name. And here I clicked OK without entering the name into it. You clicked OK without entering name into it, then it will return this, please enter name. It cannot be empty. I will refresh this, and you see I clicked cancel without entering anything. I clicked cancel. That means no value stored, not even empty. Then it will not return undefined now. It will return null, which we are verifying. And you can see if it is null, then it has to say you cancel. Because we are verifying whether it is returning null or not. If it is null, then we are canceling. Remember, not undefined. It is null. Undefined is during the compile time. When value is not defined, it will be assigned with null. At runtime, it will be defined with this. Suppose I entered a value into this and clicked OK. Then you can see that it will present that value. It will present the value. So how you can practice this example? So first what you have to do is add a new TS file. So just we defined null demo.ts. Then in that TS file, you can put this code. This is the code you have to keep in that. Then compile. That means tsc null demo.ts. And here we have to run this. And link this. Then we need to add a new HTML file. So some home.html. In that home.html, so we have to link this file and run that file. And already I showed you that how to run HTML files. To run HTML files, you need a plugin. a plugin.